To kick off the 2023 NFL season, week 1 of preseason games are now over. The Packers took on the Bengals, easily took them down. Jordan Love came out for the Packers for 14 plays, led the offense to 5 first downs, 4 by pass, 1 by penalty, was 7 for 10 for passing, 1 touchdown, and a 112.9 passer rating. Now, I've been talking about predictions for the upcoming 2023 season for a while now. I've talked a lot about the NFC North, and I've also read and watched a lot of other people's predictions for the NFC North and for the whole league. And the consensus that I've seen a lot of is that the Jets are going to be really good. They're going to go 13-4. Aaron Rodgers is going to lead the Jets to the Super Bowl. And the Packers are just going to be average or a little below average, 7-10, maybe 8-9. And it pains me to say this as a Lions fan after years and years of the Packers and Aaron Rodgers being overrated and just shoved down your throat, but I personally feel like the Packers were kind of being under rep for a little bit. Now, preseason week 1, we just saw Jordan Love come out and play pretty well. I think people are kind of like, oh, maybe the Packers aren't going to be terrible. So I think some people are changing their minds, but a lot of people are just like, Jordan Love is terrible. The Packers are going to be terrible. And with talk regarding the NFC North, regarding the second best team, everyone is saying it's going to be the Vikings, which I think is a little crazy to say that with so much confidence, because we saw last season the Vikings had bottom 3 defense in the NFL, get destroyed at home in the playoffs against the Giants. What makes you think this season is going to be any different? I personally think it's going to be the Packers in second place. They have a solid defense, solid offense. If Jordan Love can come in, I've been saying this for a while, and played his decent ball, the Packers will be good. I feel like a lot of people saw Jordan Love come out and play really well in the preseason. Now they're like, oh, the Packers, they might actually be good. Now, Jordan Love playing good in one preseason game doesn't necessarily confirm he's going to be a good quarterback. It is the preseason kind of giving you a look at how the players are going to perform, but the real deal, week 1, is going to be a little bit different than the preseason, but still it's good that he's playing well. If you're a Packers fan or a Jordan Love fan, you must be happy about that. And for the Packers defensively last season, their defense ranked 16th in points per game allowed, so right down the middle of the road, 26th in rushing yards per game allowed, which isn't the best, but they made up for it because they were 6th in passing yards per game allowed, which is really good. They have a great secondary squad, Jair Alexander, their ticking time bomb baby, Quay Walker. I'm not the biggest fan of him, but he's still a good football player. And last season, the Packers' point differential with offensive points and defensive points allowed was 1. So they were in a lot of close games. We remember the Vikings was negative for a while with a winning record, which was funny, especially after they lost 40-3 to Dallas. What I'm saying, though, is that the Packers' differential was only 1, so you must think a big reason why they won 8 games was because of their defense keeping them in that many games. Low differential, close games, the defense plays a big role in those games, and obviously statistically the defense was good. Then you look at Aaron Rodgers last season. Now, I respect him as a great football player, but he had a lot of mishaps last season, a lot of bad interceptions where the media or him would sometimes blame the wide receiver for not breaking at the right time or breaking the wrong way, just miscommunications, which some of them you could maybe see as that, but there was just too many of them. Obviously, they're Rodgers' faults, and he also had a lot of incompletions. Sometimes it was 1st and 10, they needed a touchdown, and then he'd throw 4 straight incompletions, played a little bit of hero ball. Rodgers was not prime last season. I know he's a great football player, but last season he was not amazing. He was not the reason the Packers won 8 games. Sometimes he was, but not the majority of the time. So it's funny that now that Rodgers leaves, the Packers are terrible. The Packers are over. It's the season, they're rebuilding. Like, why is it when a part of their game that wasn't even playing very well last season, when it leaves, now they're supposed to be bad, which just doesn't really make sense. And now the Jets are supposed to be super good. Why are they supposed to be super good? Aaron Rodgers might not return to his prime self. If he plays like last season, the Jets are not going to win 14 games like everyone has been saying. I guess I'm just kind of ranting about how the Jets and Packers are being portrayed by the media and how people think they're going to win or lose this upcoming season. I think it's just crazy. It just blows my mind that people make certain predictions. Like, they might come true, but with how much confidence people are saying the Jets are going to win 14 games, I find crazy. And then Fox put out their top 14 quarterbacks right now. Kirk Cousins at 6, crazy. Aaron Rodgers at 7. I mean, he's a great quarterback again. 4-time MVP, back-to-back MVP. He's great, but rank him 7th right now? No chance. Dak Prescott 8th, led the league in interceptions while missing a ton of games and crapped his pants in the playoffs. crazy. Jared Goff at 9 should be higher. Lamar's fine. Geno Smith should be higher. Tua's fine. Justin Fields at 13. Like, now this whole list just doesn't even make like, it didn't make sense, and now it's just like mind blown. Justin Fields over T-Law. Justin Fields has how many wins to his name? Trevor Lawrence has a playoff win to his name. That just blows my mind. And Kirk Cousins being ranked 6 isn't that crazy to me. I love Kirk Cousins. He's a great quarterback, but just I don't think people realize how embarrassing the Vikings season was last year. They went 14-3. They won 14 games. They have a home playoff game against Daniel Jones, a Daniel Jones-led team, against the Giants at home, and they lose. I just remember the last play, Kirk Cousins throwing like a 3-yard pass when it was like 4th and 7. Just really embarrassing for the Vikings last season. And they had a bottom 3 defense. Why do people think the Vikings are just going to be the best team in the world now? Maybe even win the NFC North, be way better than the Packers when they have no defense, and they won 10 one-score games last season and got extremely lucky all season long. You can't tell me the Vikings were lucky last season. There's no way they would ever be able to repeat what they did last season this season. If they win just as many games or more games than last season, my mind would be blown. If the Vikings win 10 games this upcoming season, I feel like that's like the max. In week 1 for the Packers, they play the Bears. It's going to be a fun game. Their schedule is going to be a little difficult later on. I feel like it starts off relatively lighter than the second half, or the first half is easier than the second half. So that'll be good for Jordan Love. He'll be able to adjust, maybe get some hopefully easier games in, or he'll have more room for mistakes during the first half of the season, because in the second half, they have that span where they go to Pittsburgh, play the Chargers, play Detroit, play KC, then they play the Giants, which I know I'd make fun of Daniel Jones, but the Giants are still a solid team. But I think Jordan Love is going to be solid this season. You know, the Packers have a super solid wide receiver core. I'm excited to see Jaden Reed come out and play. I think he's going to be amazing. Obviously, Christian Watson had an amazing rookie season last year. The deep threat's going to be there. Some people were saying that they're not going to go for the Christian Watson deep threat as much. I think they still will, and Jordan Love showed that he could throw that ball in the preseason. Those balls were perfectly played. In the end, anything can happen. I have the Packers finishing 9-8, probably around there. You never know, though. Justin Fields could pan out to be an amazing quarterback. The Bears could win 10 games this upcoming season. The Packers could be terrible, and I could be wrong. The Jets could go to the Super Bowl. I just think it's crazy when people have this blind confidence that they're just so confident predicting the Jets going super far, the Packers being terrible, the Bears being super good this season, Justin Fields panning out to be a superstar. Where are you seeing... what makes you say this with such confidence? I just don't understand. Anyway, that's the end of the video. Let me know what you think in the comment section below, and as always, thanks for watching.